Stay a while and listen.
And welcome to another Friday recording that you probably won't hear till Saturday edition of the Agony of Posity, yeah. AOP podcast. This is Ross.
This is Saul. And hello out there, all you California people, because apparently a lot of people in California like us, which is weird.
I mean, they have nice weather.
It's true.
We're pretty cheap
really
with the cost of living. $1,500 for a studio apartment.
My wife said of all the cities, because she's been to LA, she's been to San Francisco, and she's been to San Diego, and she said she liked San Diego the best. So.
Was she a Philip Rivers fan?
Maybe.
Well, that's too bad.
And his little what do they call it, cowboy tie he had.
The bowler tie?
Yeah.
The bowler, yeah. Yeah, the whole Giants and him thing, I just can't get behind the guy. He's probably like the nicest guy ever.
Giant. He is a giant now, isn't he?
What, Philip Rivers?
Yeah.
Is he? I don't know. I haven't been paying. I assume there's going to be no football or anything else, so I'm not really paying attention to anything.
Tell me how your week's been. I'm going to look up where Philip Rivers is playing now because I'm interested.
All right. So you'll give me half attention. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Mostly not a lot, just tired. New job, a lot of physical labor that I haven't been doing for a long time, but I find it preferable. But I was reminded today of an actual pizza from Pizza Hut that wasn't just a hot steaming pot. Well, I'm sorry, a lukewarm, perhaps cold pile of garbage that you get it when you're actually at the restaurant, implying that they can't even get it from the oven to your table warm.
Okay.
And even if it is warm, there's chemicals in their pizza that make it a colder temperature. So, but they had back around 99 or 2000, I think, they had the Big New Yorker.
Yeah,
and yeah, so I was looking into it because something today, I was talking to somebody and somehow I was reminded of the Big New Yorker. And my previous rant against Pizza Hut and how trash tier they are, that didn't occur to me. So I want to make it right that one, Pizza Hut has had something that I really liked consistently for a brief window of time, but they're not going to bring it back. Apparently they brought it back for one of the stores in Hawaii, if I read it right, which literally does me no good. And then I saw one person's explanation of it, just nailed it. He was like, the Big New Yorker at Pizza Hut was really good because, and then he gave all these adjectives of deliciousness. And he was like, so basically it's like nothing that Pizza Hut ever serves. I was like, that's my exact feelings. There was one other menu item at Pizza Hut that I liked, which was the Pizzone. But they brought that back, but they did something different to it, I'm pretty sure, because it was also a pile of garbage. Just some crust. You go back into the back and you're like, oh, there's the wrapper from the pepperonis. We'll shove that into the crust. All right, we're going to make it like a calzone, but it's a pizzone. Here's a side of ranch or pizza garbage sauce.
I'm reminded of how
just to make sure, we are not sponsored or affiliated with Pizza Hut in any way, just in case someone was wondering.
I'm reminded of your passion with Pizza Hut there. My one buddy, we were talking about Popeyes or KFC.
Yeah.
And he's like, the problem with Popeyes is when you go into the parking lot, you just have to go back out of the parking lot and go down the street to KFC. So I was like, I'm not a fan of Popeyes, I guess.
Was it because they never have chicken ready?
He's a very, I don't know. He's very picky. He's very opinionated on what he likes. So, who knows?
I have had Popeyes and I've had KFC. I
like
feel
Popeyes
like
better, be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I think it's better, but I could see it being one of those, I'm in the mood for KFC, like something specific about their 11 herbs and spices, where you're going to have a certain one that you want to taste. And Popeyes is a totally different type of fried chicken almost. So I could see a place in my heart for both of them, but I don't think I would ever be like, nope, I'm not going to eat Popeyes ever. It's very strange.
And by the way, Phillip Rivers is now a Colt. So.
Yeah. I kind of figured he would never be back with the Giants since they exiled him. That's how I like to remember that story. Not with the pretentiousness of a particular Manning brother.
So, other than being really tired and wanting a pizza,
Yes,
or not wanting pizza,
yeah.
How's your week been?
That's really been about it. Like, that's anything notable. Yeah. So, how about yours?
So we're getting to this time of season again, where political ads are invading my YouTube.
Yes.
Between the Biden and the Trump, and you know what? After seeing both of these ads from both candidates, I don't like either one of them.
Right.
I really would like Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine to be my president.
You can write him
so
in.
Awesome. To have that character, he was so good. I would want him being my leader.
Now, people will tell you that that's throwing a vote away, but if the whole intent is to vote for who you think is best, then it's not throwing it away at all.
Well, the problem is Benjamin Sisko is not a real person. So.
Oh, there's a real Benjamin Sisko. There is someone with that name.
Sure.
I can almost guarantee you that.
So other than being harassed and annoyed by political ads, not too much.
All right. No one's like taking rolled up papers and just hit you in the face with them?
No one's hitting me with papers.
Would you like to go into AEW or just wrestling in general?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'll bumper us on the way.
Oh, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks.
Looks like he's just wearing blue pads. This is a revolution.
All right, so it is a revolution. We have Dynamite for the week. A lot of big matches and a cluster F to start things up, it sounded like, because I missed the very first match except for the literal pinfall.
Okay. What was the yeah.
Yeah, your favorite match. Based on your text message, I did not bother to go back and watch this because I'm not
I didn't.
Not a huge fan of 10-man matches to begin with.
Well, and I could have swore I heard JR. I mean, maybe he was talking about the next match, like the tornado match. I could have swore he said that this match was a tornado match, but I don't think it was. So maybe I misunderstood Jim Ross. I don't know, but
right. Well, it says here, I'm looking at the official page's results where Jim Ross was, I guess, I'm assuming he brought this up multiple times, where they should really have 2 referees for a match like this.
Or not have a match like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, if you go back just a few weeks, you had the Bucks and FTR against No Tag Brothers and Butcher and Blade.
No Tag Brothers. But that was a better match, so
right.
I don't know. It just seemed like things were just off there in this match to me.
Was it, because we see this a lot with, especially like the first match on the Dynamite, where like we constantly are like, well, is it just because it's so hot and humid that the people are dying out there? Like,
maybe.
Was it one of those, or just for some reason these guys just don't mesh very well on this particular occasion?
I don't know. I didn't like the start of it. I didn't like the middle of it, and I didn't like how it ended. I thought Inner Circle should have won it. So,
right, I was kind of surprised that they lost.
Yeah, and then Matt Hardy came out and subtracted Sammy.
Right,
distracted Sammy. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, and it seems like, because I literally only saw them count the 3 count. Like, I didn't even see Matt Hardy interject himself. So I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, Matt Hardy came out, and I'm assuming they were going to do the Sammy thing. that they were going to do a couple
With-
months back, but Sammy had things came up from his past or something. So
Yes,
I don't know.
that was being taken care of. Yeah. So all right. So I didn't bother to go back and watch that match yet because again, I'm surprised I like tag team wrestling as much as I do in AEW, but I don't want to see two thrown together entities in Jurassic Express and Best Friends against. I mean, Inner Circle I have no problem with. They've been together for a while, but
Maybe it was like the Jurassic Express because I'm kind of getting sour on them for some.
I'm going to blame
reason, but I don't know
Luchasaurus. I'm going to
Maybe.
continue my. He really doesn't do anything except all his everything.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. There's some, yeah. So anyway, so we both.
I just know it's not Jungle
I
Boy.
didn't like it. So
Jungle Boy or his older brother, Griff.
yeah.
So the next thing, it looks like we had the Open Challenge, where we got Cody against the a Warhorse. I was trying to come up with, but it's now. How familiar with Warhorse were you going into this?
I knew nothing of him.
Okay, I've seen a few of his matches. I really like his like the knee pads. Like I think his art, like the graphics and stuff that he uses, are good.
Yeah.
He has a
good.
robe that looks really cool, but the denim jacket is not bad either, I guess, or vest. I'm sorry.
He has a good good look about him. So
Yeah, like it's something. It's eye catching enough. Yeah, I mean it's super not anything crazy either though, so that's good. But I was let down that his particular introduction was not in all caps. That is one of the things that gets announced for him.
yes.
So if they did do the 4,000 pounds of heavy metal or whatever it was, I thought that was fine. I thought the match itself. I just want to say. They signed today, because this ties with the Open Challenge. Did you see where Eddie Kingston got signed to AEW officially?
Yeah, I saw that.
So, good for him.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, having pretty much zero clue who the guy was, the one promo and match had me very interested in him. So I assume there's a lot of other people that are probably like that. Be like, oh, that guy can actually talk, and he's not bad in the ring either. Sweet. He's like 100, but... Actually, I don't know how old he is. I was just making the joke. So, but yeah, so we get more of Cody, a little bit of heel stuff here and there, doing the push-ups. It's from the Warhorse matches I've seen, he got a lot of his normal stuff in. Did anything stick out to you?
Not really. Well, I think one thing I did notice, it was more grounded, I guess.
Uh-huh.
A lot more like arm bars, and it wasn't like him flying around all over the ring and stuff like
Right.
that. So.
Just, you mean wrestling? Wrestling's the word you're looking for.
Well, no, it was just like, I guess Cody's matches are not like that anyway. But
Right.
you know, it's like the Young Bucks where they're like flying around and
Yeah.
diving and stuff like that.
The one of the things I liked is Warhorse would occasionally like try to fight off a move and it might not work, but like even at the end when he got caught in the figure four, like he still even like he tried to catch the leg to block it one last time. Like there was a lot of like countering stuff that made it makes sense basically.
What was the figure four Dusty's move or something?
I
I mean, I know it's Ric Flair's move, but I mean, was it Dusty Rose's move
I
too?
don't
or
think
what?
so.
Okay.
But I say that like I haven't watched a lot of super old Dusty stuff.
Sure.
I've seen more of his promos than I have of his matches.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just because, I mean, his promos are what get you. But I've seen like cage matches and stuff. But he usually ended up getting bloodied up and beaten, and then the crowd tried to murder people. So I just assumed his finish was the crowd throwing weapons at the bad guy until he could pin them.
Sure.
So overall, did you enjoy Warhorse though? Would you
Yeah.
be
I mean,
you'd be fine seeing more of him?
I think they should sign him. Just because he's different. He has a different look about him.
Right. Well,
He doesn't look like everyone else.
Yeah, he actually has I found it on YouTube. It's a video like being Warhorse or becoming Warhorse or something, and it's kind of him just talking about like his thought process. And
Being
it's
a Warhorse.
Yeah, it's only like 10 minutes, so it's not like a super long documentary or anything. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd like to see
more
of him.
I thought it was weird that the Dark Order came out.
Well, until Matt Cardona, formerly
Yeah.
Zack Ryder, showed up. I was like, they had to make a... I was hoping that it was going to be like they got Colt a title shot, or Stu was going to get a title shot or something against Cody. Like they were working into the Dark Order is going to try to get the TNT title now.
Gotcha. Yeah,
but nope.
Sure.
So, always ready, Matt Cardona shows up. Conveniently, days before their action figures of AEW hit the shelves at Walmart. I think he's just trying to get some figures for his collection.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because from everything I read on the dirt sheets there is that he's only signed for like a couple appearances.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's like, all right, I really don't want a long-term deal. I just want action figures. So if we can work that in.
I genuinely would not be surprised if he tried to work that into it. And we'll talk about it on the Major Brothers Wrestling Figures podcast. So,
sure.
I mean, he's a big dude, though. Like,
oh, yeah.
I saw a lot of people be like, man, he got, like, ripped or jacked. Like, well, no, he's looked like that forever. It's just he's
just
not been on TV. Yeah.
Yes.
And when he did, you just heard him go, woo, 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 and you immediately, your brain was like, and stopped paying attention. So
that's what I did. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it would make sense because he had the internet title that he did previously. He had that remade to where it doesn't have stuff that would get him in trouble. He's been like, so it seems like he's prepping for like an actual indie run where he wants to just, my assumption would be go and wrestle and show that he's actually something, as opposed to what he's been given, which is fine. But if he's getting a little bit of publicity from AEW and then launches something else, I'd say that's probably good because it shows that AEW is willing to just make a short deal with somebody, see if they can help each other out.
And also, it seems like AEW is very lenient on letting their people do whatever they want, as long as you just tell them what you're doing. So,
right. Or if you're just up front, like, hey, I want to do these things. So, or at least from what we have been told so far, we haven't got the, much like we get the gimmick of the disgruntled WWE wrestler who then goes on the podcast circuit. We haven't had the disgruntled AEW gimmick yet, so we don't know how that'll work. Let's see here. But yeah, so there's a tag match next week with Cody and Matt Cardona. There are too many Matts in AEW at the moment. I hope they do a loser. A Matt leaves AEW to get rid of Matt Cardona if he does go away. Him, Matt Hardy, Matt Jackson. I'm sure there's another Matt there. We got Jericho and everybody. They're not happy.
So the whole Jericho challenging Orange Cassidy to a debate next week.
Yes.
What the hell is that? I mean, what are they going to debate?
I don't know. How great Jericho is. I'm wondering, they're either going to use it to let Cassidy actually cut like a real promo, or he's just going to be like, yeah, and that'll be it. Like, I don't know which way they're going to go with it, but
I mean, they have me intrigued, which is probably why they did it, but I'm just like, what?
Yeah, well, I'm also curious to the guest moderator, who that's going to be. I'm assuming that Jericho is going to get some form of revenge on Orange Cassidy, though, at this point, to put them on even footing. And then we'll be having to find out what's going on with the match following that. So, should be... I will watch it. I'm not going to say it should be interesting. I'll definitely be watching it, though, to see what happens. I hope AEW doesn't the other companies... They're big on contract signings. We're going to start a debate team. And that's just going to be like, every time there's a big match, they have a debate.
Yeah.
Christopher Daniels
Cody-
comes out.
Cody was hinting at a third hour maybe happening for Dynamite, so maybe that's what they're going to do for the
Please,
extra
no.
hour. They're going to do a debate hour.
If they did do like a third hour, but it was just something, if it was 50 plus for 50 minutes plus for the 50 demo, that's fine. Please don't give me more wrestling. 3-hour shows, there's no way a regular 3-hour show is a good thing. So we got FTR coming up here. They signed officially, I suppose. I'm assuming they've been officially signed for a while, but storyline wise, they're officially signed.
Sure.
The thing I thought was amazing is that they were so excited that the tag rope is an FTR exclusive item now.
Yes. Well, it's just funny that anytime in their matches you have to follow the rules. It's just funny.
Yeah.
I've never seen it in wrestling where a team's like, no, you got to follow the rules when you're wrestling us.
Yes. I can't wait for the Lucha Brothers to immediately be disqualified the next time they fight. Like, just 10 minutes in, it's over.
Yeah.
Yes, but we got, like, Arn showing up to be one of their special people, followed by Hangman coming in to give everybody a shot and a full glass for himself.
Yes.
So, but we'll continue in that. So tag match for the titles.
Yep.
Did you think there was any chance of the belts changing in this match? Like going into it?
I was hoping.
I really thought it might happen.
Yeah.
So,
the beginning of it was just weird because they brought out the Anna Jay
with
and
no
Brody.
mention.
No mention, and they was trying to start something, and then they went to a commercial break or something, and they never went back to explaining what was happening. So
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Other than Colt was like, "Oh, Mr. Brody got me this time to be on commentary." So, so we got, I mean, pretty fine match. Really, the only thing that stuck out to me a ton, though, like just after the fact, is when Kenny was whipping Grayson into the corner. They went to that weird turnbuckle cam, and you just saw him fly off into the heavens. And like Kenny's like just looking, and he looks like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Supposedly that Grayson was actually like taking out Hangman on the outside, which would explain why Kenny would be like, uh-oh. But all I saw on my TV was, I believe the kids say that Grayson was yeeted out of the ring. And
Sure.
Kenny looked so surprised, like, well, that's not what I thought was going to happen. It was like, did he just seriously throw himself on the concrete? Or did they have a crash pad over there and they're going to hide it? Like, what just happened? So,
I wonder if when they lose the tag belts, if Kenny will get new pants.
please. We need to get Breeze and Dango over there, the fashion police, to talk to Mr. Omega and be like, brother, you got some sweet pants.
We change outfits every week. Come on, man.
He'd be like, you've been wearing these tired pants forever. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, the ending to the match was pretty standard, I guess, at this point. You got the V-Trigger Buckshot combo. Page and Omega keep the belts. But then we get a little bit of Mr. Brody. Where poor evil Uno eats the paper again.
Yes.
I would like to note, though, on this, when Mr. Brody threw the paper at him, he responded it as a real human being would, where he kind of like backed up and tripped over it, as opposed to on BTE where he screams and takes a bump. So I like that there's the separation of those. I'd also like to point out how awesome, if you're not watching Being the Elite, you should try to watch it, if nothing else, for the Dark Order stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually because there for a while BTE was getting kind of terrible, but
Yeah, it had like what 3 weeks or 4 weeks for sure that were just
but
like
now it's like I think somebody on Twitter said it's like The Office,
yeah.
but with Dark Order members.
Well, it's to give anyone who's curious but hasn't actually watched it, like Mr. Brody is a psychopath, but he plays everything straight. And the rest of the Dark Order, except for Stu, are a bunch of screw-ups. The previous week you had, is it Silver is the other bald guy with the beard, right?
Yes.
Silver, because it's Silver and Reynolds. And Silver's like, well, why do I got to wear a mask? But this ugly guy, pointing at Stu, and then I think it was Reynolds, like, you guys look the same. And like that's the kind of argument you're getting, but then Brody comes in and just angry at everybody.
Well, it's funny because when you watch it, Reynolds, because Reynolds is funny.
Yeah.
He starts laughing anytime when Mr. Brody does something. You can see him like turning his head.
Yeah. Well, it's Silver just outright cracks all the time.
Yes.
To where like this week, I think Brody like grabbed him by the face and was screaming at him more.
Yes.
Again, Brody's a big dude, so I'm sure it's like, even though you know it's a bit, like, I wouldn't want someone that big screaming in my face like that. It'd be scary.
Yeah, so if you guys have never seen it, do yourself a favor, go to type in BTE on YouTube and watch it. It's pretty funny.
The other thing you can do is you can also check out Evil Uno's Twitch page. I have no idea. I think it's just Evil Uno. But he does a fairly good job of streaming. Some of the other wrestlers aren't very good at the interacting with the chat.
Yes.
Mr. Uno of the Evil does pretty good. Let's see here. Young Bucks show up. Yeah, we're getting like a crazy 1,500 person match next week of the Dark Order against the Elite plus FTR. Apparently an ice cooler is now a weapon. A styrofoam one, not.
I don't know where they're going with this because it seems like they're trying to set stuff up for All Out, and I just don't know. I mean, where do you go from this?
Right. Well, this seems like it's one of those ones where Dark Order needs to win it.
Yes.
Again, but I don't know. So, let's see. So yeah, we did get Return of the Creepers though.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I'm gonna call it now. Is the Evil Uno and Stu are gonna turn on Mr. Brody, and then the Creeper chair will come back.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to get tired of it, and they're going to be kind of like the B. Remember the B team NWO?
Yeah,
I think that's where they're kind of headed towards.
See, I think they're going to usurp Mr. Brody and kick him out.
Usurper?
Yes. And then Mr. Brody will probably not be a good guy, but he'll be more himself than the Dark Order Mr. Brody character.
It'd be interesting.
So I don't know. I could see them like pulling something like that. That'd be very super villainy, henchman-y kind of thing.
Maybe Eric Rowan will come back and they'll join. They'll do another
tag team,
Bludgeon Brothers or whatever they're called.
And then immediately one of them will be injured, and then AEW will be like, "Well, I don't know why you guys want it in your contract, but if one of you guys is injured, the other can't wrestle. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess you guys were comfortable with that deal, so all right."
That's what Vince does, so it must work. So
we were totally fine with you guys just having some singles matches here and there to keep you on TV, but whatever.
Sure.
So we had Britt Baker is going to be assigning an opponent for Big Swole to fight.
Yes, because apparently she has that power, I guess.
Who knows? I mean, she's a role model. She's a doctor.
Yeah.
So I hope it's like a surprise and not just like, you gotta face Nyla. Like,
sure. Yeah.
All right, whatever. I mean, Big Swole has pretty good matches, so that's fine. But I mean, at least it's a story. Like, there's a reason for the match. That's fine.
Yeah.
But we got Shida against Diamante. I didn't pay a ton of attention to this match, honestly.
I don't think I watched it either. So
Okay, so
I think I was cooking at the time, or
right, I was doing something that was cooking, or I decided to browse through Twitter or something.
Which is a shame, because Sheeta, I like her as a wrestler. She usually has some pretty good matches.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think after the Dark Order stuff and then Dr. Baker talking, I was kind of wanting to get to the MJF thing that I knew was going to happen, or the main event match. So it was just, the placement of it was no good for me. But every time I looked, like, somebody was getting wrecked with something. So
yeah,
I might go back and watch that one just to give it a fair shake. Because, when Sheeta rolls people up after the knee, they are stacked really high on their neck. Every time. I do notice that. It makes me uncomfortable to watch.
So what do you think about the Women's Tag Team Cup tournament?
With the Deadly Draw?
Yes.
I'm a fan of... Since they don't really have defined tag teams, I'm okay with...
I don't think them not having a belt.
Right. Well, they need some more women, though. Like...
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think...
Yeah.
I think that's why they're doing a cup tournament, because I don't think they have that many women
right.
where they could
to
actually
sustain
have
it.
a tag team division.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's fine. They're doing something. So that's it. I kind of like the idea, though, where they're just going to draw chips and see who you get as your tag team partner.
As long as whoever wins, they'll bring out the cup every time. You remember when Owen Hart brought
The
out
Slammies?
his Slammies? I always thought that was so stupid.
Well, remember when, I don't know if you were watching WWE at all, but Cesaro won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Okay.
And then, I can't remember if it was when he won it that they kept bringing it to ringside, but it was like, dude, that is a pain in the butt. Like, go the comma route and melt that thing down into some cufflinks or something.
Sure.
But yeah, so I'm curious. What I am super curious about this, and I hope it comes out, is it a real random draw, or is it a wrestling random draw? If you know what I mean there. Like,
Yeah.
like they actually have a plan, but they're going to play it up as it's random, or is it really just, let's see what happens?
I think the randomness is stupid.
For the...
As a story, I don't understand it. Like, oh, hey, who drew purple? Oh, you drew purple too. Okay, we're attacked. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it.
I'm okay with it if something beneficial comes out of it. I used to like I believe it was WCW did the Lethal Lottery, where you would just get paired up with somebody. So I'm assuming it's in the spirit of that.
Gotcha.
So, let's see here. MJF. We get MJF's EC3 presentation, basically.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but this is funny because, like, towards the beginning, MJF talks about where he's been given an exorbitant amount of time. And my wife had actually walked down while this segment was on, and she was like, he seems like he's been talking for a really long time. And I was like, I don't know for sure, but I think this is the longest that anyone's had promo time. Maybe outside of Jericho?
Yeah, but say Jericho's had some pretty long-winded stuff.
Yeah, but like one person, like he had a lot, but
he did. Yeah.
He kind of came across closer to a good guy in this in a way. Like, I mean, how he was portraying himself. But what did you think of the whole thing?
I thought it was pretty good. I like because he does fit the role of a sleazy politician.
Yes.
So I like the whole. I like the I like the presentation of it. So.
You know what I found really strange about it?
What?
Is I just noticed during this where his beard has a fade, into his sideburns, and it makes me angry.
Okay. Okay.
Like, you could have hair there and it would just be a beard, and that would be okay. But instead it just fades kind of by the temples and then goes into his head. It's really weird. Do you think, I'm assuming that he's doing all this, he's going to get the title shot for All Out.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
Unless they have another story planned. But
why take me down this road if you're not going to go
something
anywhere
that
with it,
we want. Now, would you like to see MJF actually win the title? As things are right now.
Yes, because I think as the COVIDs is happening in the world, I think heels having championship titles in wrestling, at least, is better.
Yeah. Well, and
because John Moxley, the whole point, that character needs fans.
Yes.
Because he's coming out, so he's coming down from the empty arena steps. There's no one there.
Well, he could also be like the loner thing, but yeah, like his whole thing was getting the belt off of Jericho, but he seems much better as chasing and then having, like an okay length title reign, but he needs to drop it to somebody, but he needs to get cheated in some way, I would say. But yeah, MJF being the evil Goldberg, where he's like undefeated, and actually just goes into the belt would be pretty interesting. And then there's a lot of matches that he can have too, and I think he could make any face chasing him a pretty good story. So
exactly, I mean, I think it would be best for AEW if he won the belt.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big... So, nothing against Moxley's title reign. Like, he's been kind of put in a bad way. But he's a fairly exciting dude. But, yeah, personally, I'd be more than happy to see MJF and what kind of journey we can get out of that.
And this is just fantasy booking, but I would say that you have him beat Moxley, and then you could have Scorpio Sky basically be chasing it and eventually maybe beat MJF eventually down the road.
Would you have it be one of those things where he's one of the early challengers, comes up short, but then is eventually the one to finally knock him off?
I don't know. Maybe. Well, see, I don't think I would throw him in there right away.
Mm-hmm.
I would, because I don't know, because I think either way MJF could be like, well, I beat you once, so yeah, maybe that might be good.
Right, and then make him jump through hoops to even get the match.
Yeah.
So I have noticed, because I watch Dark every week. We touch on it here and there, but Scorpio Sky, when he does the TKO, like he really lays out with it. It makes it look good. I remember when Mark Marrow did the TKO, basically. It did not look like what Mr. Sky does with that. Or his Russian leg sweep, actually. Scorpio's Russian leg sweep looks like it would actually hurt.
Yeah.
Like the amount of snap that he puts into it. So,
I didn't know he was actually a martial artist. Did you know that?
They were talking about it somewhere. And yeah, I did not know that either. It kind of explains more. Like he seems like a legitimate fighter kind of guy. So if not that, he's going to have the TNT title before long, I would think. Like he's got to be someone who's on that list.
I would assume, yeah.
Now, do you think with the TNT title, do you think the actual channel TNT has any say in that?
I don't think so.
Okay. I was just curious.
I don't know. I don't know.
We want Cody because he's a good, we can't have any bad guys with our belt.
Well, it's funny that you said that because I was watching some old WCW stuff.
Yeah. And
I was watching one of the old Nitro people, and they said that TNT actually had a lot of say on who they wanted to go into the third hour and the second hour and the first hour, and so maybe who knows? Maybe if they're going to have the TNT belt, maybe they do. Who knows?
We'll find out. It'll be funny though if it's like 4 face champions in a row. Like,
Sure.
I'm starting to think they don't want a bad guy to have that belt.
I would have called it. I would have called it the Ted Turner belt.
What about Billionaire Ted?
Yes, Billionaire Ted.
And then
belt.
the side plates, one's the Nacho Man and the other's the Huckster.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Man, I wonder how quick you'd be sued for that. Could I have that belt made myself?
Maybe.
I'm going to have to investigate. I don't have much money, but let's see. So, main event, we got Moxley and Darby against Cage and Starks. So, this is a tornado tag match, which I like those style matches.
Okay.
Because you don't have to pretend that there's rules.
Sure. Well, and then for AEW, sure.
Right. Like, I was wondering if AEW was just going to do, like, their tag division was just tornado tag. Like, when it was coming into fruition.
Well, so, I think you and me are kind of hard on AEW for the rules.
Yes.
Because I remember watching some ECW stuff, and ECW, I don't think they had rules at all.
No,
so,
they did not. No, someone could come down and just wreck your match, and that was fine.
Yeah, so
you should have had more friends.
Yeah, maybe. So, yeah, exactly. So maybe we are just so used to how WWE tells us how a match should be. Maybe we're just, I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, like, because JR brings it up all the time, so it's always in the front of your mind.
Yeah.
But, so with this match, the match itself, one thing I would like to say that I enjoyed was Taz's commentary, where he was, like, back and forth between being super biased, but actually somewhat being down the middle, too, if that makes any sense at times.
Yeah.
Because, like,
not to distract you from what you're talking about, but when Taz was on Dark commentating with the what's the guy? The guy who puts Roman oil all over himself. What's the
Michael
guy's name?
Nakazawa.
That match was cracking me up because Taz was like, "What is going on here? What are we doing?"
Well, because they stole the oil from him, and he's like, "There's like a gallon of oil in the middle of the ring. What are we doing here?"
Yeah, like Pineapple Pete, like they put like oil all over Nakazawa's back, and then Pineapple Pete slid off it.
I love that move.
It was so goofy.
That move, like, as soon as I saw him back up, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be like a slip and slide." I was like, I just my brain was going with all the possible outcomes. I was like, if this goes like they want it to, it's gonna be the most amazing thing ever. And I was overall, it was
funny.
I would say it was a terrible match, depending on what you're looking for. But man, was I entertained. And with, like, Taz is just... Like, anytime Michael Nakazawa is out there, it feels to me like Taz has been lied to. I'm like, oh no, this guy's an awesome technical wrestler. Think Dean Malenko in his prime. And then they're like, yeah, he was just having some fun that night. He doesn't actually use the oil all the time. And then he comes out again, and Taz is like, what is going on? Like, this can't be real.
You can legitimately tell that Taz was having a good time commentating because he was like, I have no idea what's going on in this match.
That's one of the...
Anyway.
That's like the third time on Dark that's happened, I think. Second or third for sure. But yeah, it's entertaining every time. So, let me see here. But yeah, so
overall, this match with Cage and Starks.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
I thought it was... I'm going to use this word, standard. It wasn't, but it felt like I kind of knew the outcome before it started. And like there are some good points in it. It looks like they're working something longer term, but again, like I was more entertained by Taz's commentary. I consider myself a fan of pretty much everyone in the ring. But, like,
Yeah.
in the beginning when he's screaming about, it's a trap, they set us up or whatever. And then
Yeah.
where he constantly was like, I hate them for doing that, but it's smart. Like, those kind of things. It was just, he was talking like he actually had something at stake in the match, but he was pointing out, like, yeah, I would do the same thing. So, because the match was basically just demolition derby, Darby doing Darby things, Moxley doing Moxley things.
Starks is back, dude. Whew.
Uh,
It looked bad.
So we talked briefly about this. Now, fortunately, it's a thumbtack, so it's not like the deepest cut ever. But the fact that it wasn't just like flat down onto him and it scraped off, which, I mean, I assume the plan was for it to just go straight on him and not scrape off him. But that's one of those moves where you know what you're getting into, basically, going into it. But I would probably not. I would much rather take the Cody powerbomb onto the thumbtacks than the skateboard across the back.
Okay.
Any day. Like, if you were to walk up to me on Monday, I would be like, which one do you want? Give me the powerbomb. Please.
Sure. Yeah.
And I would be sitting there thinking, this is such a good decision that I did not take the other. Like, I don't know what's going on that I had to make this decision, but here we are, and I made the right one. So,
Sure.
what do you think of their double team finisher with the paradigm shift and the coffin drop? It just didn't seem to work how it should have.
Because I'm like, because when he did it, I was like, so is Darby Allin trying to hurt Moxley? Because that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, I don't.
It looked good.
It should have just been him hit the paradigm shift and then Darby hit the coffin drop.
Yes.
You know what would have helped them out is if they had some action figures. They could have like kind of set that move up and be like, oh, this is what it'll be like. And be like, oh yeah, that's really gonna suck. Let's not do that. So
Sure.
I think they need a room in the back once these action figures come out where they can play with them and be like, oh, hey, I shouldn't do that move. That's terrible. And then I will eventually get to see someone go for a blue thunder bomb and it be reversed into a tequila sunrise. Because you can, toys will tell you that is a good counter. So, but yeah, we were gonna get Moxley against Darby too, for the belt. So,
Which I don't understand that.
well, Darby's
Darby is
number 5.
Darby's he's number 5.
I'm assuming it's also to make MJF have something to be angry about.
Okay, well, yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe we get between now. So we're gonna get fantasy booking and making assumptions here. So we get Moxley and MJF at All Out. Maybe the in between program for MJF becomes him and Darby.
Okay.
And now I think Darby needs to start winning some matches.
Sure.
I mean, he's ranked number 5, so he has to have been winning more than losing. But it feels like he just constantly loses. Like that's
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
feeling
seem like
I
he wins
get.
a lot. It doesn't seem like he's won a lot. Yeah.
Right, which I think is the wrong. Like that's just how it feels, though. But yeah, so that is the end of Dynamite. Now you had mentioned the Mountie to me before we started recording.
Yeah, I watched Sid Justice versus the Mountie, and man, Sid was so over with the fans. It is
Now, was this
insane.
good guy Sid Vicious, or was he Sid Justice, or was he Psycho Sid?
They was calling him Sid Justice, and the fans were like, as soon as he came out, they were cheering him. So I assume he was a good guy at that point in time.
During this time, did he have the Sid pyro? Like
No.
where it like hung in the ring and said Sid?
No, he had. It's funny because he actually had like a Goldberg entrance. He had like 4 security people bringing him in. I don't know if the where they were at, it was just rowdy.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he had like 4 security guys come in with him.
I've never looked at Sid and been like, that's a guy that needs protection. Unless Arn Anderson and some scissors are around.
Especially when he was this is Injustice because he's wearing blue trunks and everything.
Yeah.
He was a big boy.
Yeah.
So I would definitely not want to be like trying to attack that guy.
Now, did he get decimated? Excuse me.
Because he can just whip out some scissors and just certain.
Yeah. You go for the leg.
Yes.
Now, did Sid obliterate the poor Mountie?
Yes.
Not surprised.
Yes.
What else Mountie-wise did you see?
I watched Big Boss Man. And,
Was it the jailhouse
prison.
match?
The jailhouse match, yeah.
So this is my memory of that match, because that was one of those ones where there's no chance I was getting the pay-per-view, but I got the cassette tape when it came out, or the VHS tape. I was like, oh, I want to see. Yeah.
What'd you do? Listen to it?
Yep.
We were so poor, Saul. We could only listen to the matches. We couldn't watch them.
The TV just didn't work, but it produced the sound.
Yes.
I only know Boss Man won because I remember them dragging the Mountie, and what I remember is him screaming about he was the Mountie.
Yes.
And at some point they threw a bucket of water on him, but I don't know if that's just me mixing when he would water people down and then shock stick them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't a lot to it. It was nothing memorable. Yeah, I guess, yeah, because there's another match. He was wrestling somebody. I don't even know who it was. But, yeah, he got a cup of water and threw it on him, and then it was Piper. He was wrestling Piper, and he threw water on Piper, and he did his little shock stick, and
was this when Piper had the vest?
Yes, he was wearing the shock-proof vest, and it didn't faze him at all. Yes.
I remember when that happened. That was like, he's so smart.
Yes. Piper has technology that no one has.
Well, I don't think they really explained how Piper thought that out so well, but no one else ever did.
Piper knew. I always thought Piper didn't. I didn't think Piper had a belt. I was actually kind of shocked.
Yeah, he was Intercontinental Champion for a while.
I did not know that. I thought he went through his entire career as not being a champion.
Yeah, I forget who he beat, but I know he loses it to Bret Hart. I'm pretty sure. And what's funny... Go ahead.
Well, it was funny because during that match, Bret Hart came on, and Bret Hart was acting like he didn't know who was going to win the match, and he was like, "Well, I know who's going to be Piper. If it's you, I'm sure you and me are going to have a good match. And Mountie, I hope it's you because, I'm going to take you downtown," or whatever he says. I'm just like, okay, we both know that Mountie is not going to beat Piper here for this belt. So
Mountie was a very good Intercontinental Champion, depending on what you consider good, but he definitely held it for a while.
Sure.
With the red and black Mountie gear, the title looked good on him. I'm looking at a picture of it right now. One of them, he looks very confused at the shock stick. Like he just doesn't know how to work it. The other, he looks much more confident. So, and one, he's screaming and holding it like arrogance. Like he's the model. So
he was he was a good character. I like him.
He had a nice drop kick, for sure. I didn't like. I had his the old the hard plastic Hasbro figure of him. I'm almost certain it had the hat on at all times, and it made it really hard. Undertaker had the same thing, where it was really hard to do certain moves to him with the other figures. Hated it, but he looked cool because red and black is good. So,
before we go off to video games here, I guess it's somewhat sports related. Have you watched any baseball? I know you probably haven't.
No.
Like clips or anything?
I'm aware that the season might be over already.
Sure. No, but so I was watching. I think it was. I want to say it was the Yankees. I could be wrong though, but they have like piped in audience people
Yeah.
cheering. I'm like, I feel like I was watching WWE. It was
Well,
weird because
again, and I've said this before, at least with like an actual sport like baseball or football, if you're the home team and you pipe in cheering, it's much more believable than for a wrestling match to me. Because crowds in wrestling are very fickle, and you have no idea who they're going to root for.
then you need to give me like some kind of like, I don't know, put some balloons in the stands or like some blow up dolls or
Something.
like something because you hear yeah, you know, and when like someone hits a home run, it's just empty seats. So
Yeah, it just makes it seem like you can tell something's wrong with the presentation. Like, even if you're not getting shots of the crowd, it's just like, this is weird. The thing is, like, baseball is probably one of the more perfect games to survive without a crowd, I would think.
Sure.
Because, like, a radio broadcast of it, if you don't hear the crowd, you don't even care.
Sure.
Now, I'm basing that on... I'm mostly a Reds fan. It's going to come to baseball. And we've always had a pretty good announce team, I felt. I don't know who it is in current years, but not big on following the baseball very closely. But any team that has like a decent announce booth.
Especially how you call it the baseball. So,
Well, yeah, it's the baseball. You throw the baseball at the batter, and they hit the ball.
The Batman.
Well, no, it's a bat boy, actually, in baseball. Shows how little you know.
Are you ready to
Jeez.
watch the baseball?
Just gonna, like, the older you get, like, it just starts creeping into all the things you say. You're like, I need the whatever it is, even though it doesn't work that way.
Sure.
Let's see. So we got TV stuff, right? Or kind of TV movie? Or video games?
Yeah.
Your call. Which one?
Let's do TV because it ain't gonna be very long.
Maybe I could move the Earth out of the way.
If we had a week, I couldn't list all the reasons that would be.
King Shark is a shark.
Not the beast!
Let's rock.
I used the Not the Bees version for this one. So,
Yes.
all right. So you had mentioned before we started there was something you were going to ask about Netflix.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask because you're a big Transformers fan. Have you heard anything about Transformers: War on Cybertron?
For
trilogy?
Cybertron. I think it was based off the video game. But I'm pulling up the information now.
So listen to this title. My God, Transformers: War of Cybertron, Chapter 1, Siege.
Yes. I heard something about it last week. I somehow stumbled onto it, and it looked basically what I've constantly wanted, where it's like that Generation 1, but it's computer animated, like the old cartoon, with the right characters. I don't know for sure, but I don't think Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus Prime in this one. But the guy doing the voice of Prime is okay. There's got to be a point where you move on, I suppose.
Sure.
But whatever. One of the big things that I'm excited about seeing, so I haven't watched this, but I'll probably watch it tomorrow morning, is you have so if you're pulling up the page, if you go to netflix.com and search for it, they got Prime front and center, a very weird looking axe that is not the axe I would expect him to have. I'm more familiar with like the orange energy axe. But you got that, Megatron. Below Megatron you have Skyfire or Jetfire, depending on, like, it's the same character, but like in the comics versus the cartoon, they had different names for some reason. I don't know why. But I had heard something where it was actually like a Gundam action figure that they just repurposed for Transformers. I don't know if that was true or not. But he was one of the coolest, and he's in this. So, excited about that. I believe at the end of the trailer, you see Omega Supreme. It's like this huge claw that comes up. And Omega Supreme is the only character that I can recall that would have a claw that would fit what shoots up there. So, at one point I saw Bumblebee get wrecked, and that was awesome.
So, explain to me, since you're a huge geeky Transformer person.
Yeah.
If why are they like semi trucks and Volkswagens and fighter jets if they haven't went to Earth yet?
And that's why. So, due to that lengthy explanation that's been cut out of the show. No. Would be funny if I did that. We just edited it that way.
I mean, if you want to do it, go ahead. I'm
think
just wondering.
I'd have to watch it to see, because I don't know if they've been to Earth and been back, or some of them they have like a more Cybertronian or like Cybertron version of a semi or car or whatever it is, and some of them, like the way they look in the poster here, like it's clearly Prime is semi form. You got Starscream as the fighter jet. Bumblebee is stupid, but is clearly like a Volkswagen looking thing, like based on their form. So I don't know.
Megatron actually looks like the old gun.
Yeah, I think he might be.
Okay.
I'm not sure. No, because he's got the treads on the back, so they just gave him the robot form that matches to it, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, so I'm not sure where the timeline goes with it, or if it's going to be like a more Cybertronian version. I can probably update you next week, or if you were to watch it yourself,
but
you'll find out something too.
I don't need you telling me about my Transformers.
Yes. I can tell you that axe is just a travesty. In the poster, I'm really not a fan of that. So, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch this. How many episodes are there? Yeah. But yeah, like this looks cool. I think I only saw like a 1-minute trailer, but I was like, oh yeah, I need to watch that. So, see, in one of these, let's see, treaties. This is great for the podcast, but I'm just trying to see, because Shockwave's in it, so it should be fairly far into the storyline, but it's hard to say.
So here's the cast. I have Megatron, Optimus Prime, Starscream, Jetfire, I don't know who that is, Soundwave, I think I know who that is.
He was the cassette player.
I don't know who Wheeljack is. Red Alert, Sideswipe, Bumblebee, Mirage, Impactor, Hound.
Impactor makes me think that they changed somebody's name.
Okay. Ratchet.
Yep.
Prowl.
Yep.
Ironhide.
Yep.
Cog. Barricade.
I would bet Impactor and Cog are someone's names who have been changed, or they created new characters.
The Thundercracker.
Yeah, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Starscream were the Seekers, I believe.
Okay.
So he's basically... there's a blue and a purple version.
Thundercracker.
Yeah. But yeah, he basically was the same... Looked almost the same as Starscream, except I think he was black and purple. I might have the colors switced, but either way, like they were kind of like a trio, I guess you could call it.
Spinnister?
Spinnister?
Am I saying?
That sounds like a Beast Wars one. I'm not sure.
Well, he's from the picture, looks like he's a purple fighter jet.
Huh.
Or no, he's a red fighter jet, sorry.
Red fighter jet. I know... it's hard to say. Now, I'm looking at the episode runs. Episode 3 is going to be awesome. You want to know what's awesome about this?
Well, what's awesome about it?
Ultra Magnus is tortured. That's all I'm reading.
Okay.
So that means that episode 3 is going to be awesome.
Okay. Not a fan of Optimus...
Ultra Magnus...
whatever. Yeah.
Ultra Magnus and Hot Rod, I do not care for either of them.
Gotcha. Did you ever play the Transformers game?
Which one?
The one that came out. The one where you were just cruising around like a town and like random Decepticons would just pop up out of nowhere, and you would fight them.
Was this the one from the first current movie?
Yes.
Yes, that game was terrible. That game was also
Yes.
the game, like, I cut my right pointer finger in half down the middle. I was trying to open up a blister pack of batteries for a controller to play this game,
Okay.
and the
Yeah.
knife, the blade didn't have a lock on it. So
Okay.
it turned funny in my hand and closed on my finger and split it right down the middle through the bone. And I had to get it stitched back together. So I remember that game with very negative thought. Not only was it bad,
Oh, okay,
a
gotcha.
bad game, like the game wasn't good on top of everything. So it was a horrible
I blame
game.
the game. I blame the game for my
I do.
my finger.
And the game was terrible. So no,
Yes,
but they
yes,
have
it was.
more recent. It's harder to find. There's like a G1, like just bash 'em up fighter kind of thing, where you can play as Prime or the different characters. It is basically just beat stuff up until it's time to be done with the level kind of thing. And then they
Okay.
have like what this Netflix show is. Like there's an actual games that you can play through of this. Or I'm assuming they're very close to each other. Because I watched, I forget if I watched someone stream it or what it was, and I was like, I don't really want to play this game, but I'll watch it. And it was like, man, this should just be a show. And now
Sure.
it looks like it might just be a show. So,
I often want this World of Warcraft to go out of business and stop making games and actually just start making movies.
except they would give you the stories you don't care about.
Yes.
They would give you, like, coming in 2024, Arthas. But it'll be
Rise.
like the young adventures of Arthas learning to ride a horse. You're
Oh
like,
no, it would be Arthas the Murloc, and you would have to.
yeah, it would just basically be like all the stories you don't want. And they'll be like, well, you
Yes.
think you want this story, but you don't. Go buy Warcraft 3 Remastered.
Yeah.
Bunch of jerks.
Well, so
Well, speaking of Blizzard, do you want to talk about video games for a minute?
yeah, I don't have a lot to say, but we can.
Okay.
We can talk.
Here we go.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right. Is this going to be another episode where we complain about Murlocs in Battlegrounds? I'm still sick of Murlocs in Battlegrounds, so
Yes, yes. I am still sick of Murlocs and Battlegrounds too. I noticed they got a new hero, Bigglesworth, right?
yes,
Is that the only new one, or is there other ones?
that is the only one that I'm aware of. Let's take a look here, because I didn't even realize this was coming out here. We're going to look at Hearthpwn. It's going to be our source of information here on my side. Goosebumps is coming out. Just got a pop-up ad. So, Bigglesworth. There's some kind of a... Let's see what this is. A server-side hotfix for Bigglesworth. A gold... Fixed a bug involving Mr. Bigglesworth, where players would sometimes be offered a golden minion in the recruit phase, one less minion in the recruit phase, or one less minion as a discover option. So that bug could either go for you or against you, I guess.
Yeah.
So you don't have to download anything for it, which is nice. It just kind of server side. But yeah, so Mr. Bigglesworth, his ability is when someone's knocked out of the game, you get to discover a card from their warband, or like basically their minion list.
Yeah.
I've only gotten Mr. Bigglesworth once, and it was actually earlier today. And we were on turn 10, and no one had been knocked out yet. So I basically didn't have an ability. Now I'm thinking back to those games where, like, by turn 10, 3 or 4 people have been knocked out sometimes. It's like, oh, well, that might have been okay. I probably would have discovered a Murloc, but... So I'm looking through here, because they added a card as well.
It's a
Let me
teacup.
find it.
It's
Yep.
2 teacups.
The Menagerie Mug. Give 3 random friendly minions of different minion types 1/1, and if you make it gold, you get 2/2.
Well, there's also if you go up to level 4.
Yeah, the jug.
There's a level 4. Yeah, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, the jug, it's a 2/2, and then the golden is a 4/4.
Yep.
And they removed some problem cards. So they got rid of Zubat because that was running a ruining the game. And then Menagerie Magician has been removed as well, which is basically they were doing a similar effect to these two guys. So,
yes, I mean, Zubat was like Hulkamania of the 80s. It was just wrecking people.
I tried to get 3 golden ones one time to get a platinum one, even though that's not how it works. Yeah.
Now,
So
I didn't know this. Maybe you did know this, and maybe it just shows you how dumb I am at playing video games by not reading stuff. Did you know when you're choosing a hero that it tells you up top what the minions are going to be during that round?
I did not know that. I knew that, like, say you have Jiraxis, there's definitely going to be demons in the round.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen that because I use the HS Replay overlay, and I usually just click on, like, they have like the different tiers, and you can click on it and it'll show you what's going to be available at the different tiers. So I've never paid attention to that, but I'll have to look now. Oh no. Blizzard Social is not available temporarily. But now it might be back. Have you rejoined us? Maybe I can rejoin him. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay. That was very weird because Blizzard Social was not available for us. When I say us, myself and all the listeners, you just dropped.
Yeah.
But it was very short, so.
But yeah, if you were when you're choosing the hero at the top, it tells you what minions are going to be.
Yeah, so you're not like, where's a dragon? And there's no dragons.
Yep. I just found that out this week.
So it basically just says draft Murlocs.
Sure.
I assume, because that's.
If you want to see somebody this destroy Battlegrounds, I was so impressed. Watch Firebat.
Okay.
He was playing this one round where he was trying to find a Megasaur.
Yeah.
And he sold like everything like 3 times, like his entire thing.
Yeah.
And he eventually found what he was looking for, and he won he came in first place. But he sold everything like 3 times. I was so impressed. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that he survived. If I have Murlocs, I can't get a Megasaur.
Yeah.
Like, it just does not happen for me. No matter what I do. Whether whether I'm level 5 and I get a golden and I get a shot at a Megasaur, don't get it then. There was a while back where I had real good luck with that when Murlocs weren't the powerhouse that they are now.
Yes.
Months and months ago. And I did pretty good with it. So I don't know if they changed the likelihood of seeing them, or they dropped the number that are available, because everyone else is looking for a Megasaur too. So I don't know. So on this patch that they did recently, there's a lot of other stuff, but we don't really get into the minutia of Hearthstone hardly ever. Have you pre-ordered any of the Skullomance card sets or anything?
So I say that I'm going to do it because it seems like there's a new expansion out every time my birthday comes up.
Yeah.
So
you have 4 birthdays a year or 3?
Well, no, it just seems like every time in August, there's always a new expansion coming out. So I always tell my wife, "Hey, if you want to give me a birthday present, here's an idea." But then we forget about it, and then I don't get the expansion.
Okay.
So
I went ahead and splurged for the big one because I wanted the Kel'Thuzad hero card.
Okay.
To play as, because I'm sick of looking at Khadgar and Jaina. So, Plus, I mean, it gives me the battleground perks and whatever, so that's fine. I can probably buy packs with the rest. I have like 50 unopened packs across all the different expansions right now. Plus, like, the card pack for this. So I can get dust if I need it. I just don't want to sit there and hit the space button over and over to open these packs. Because I'd rather play... At this point, I'd rather play a game of Battlegrounds.
Sure.
I just discovered there was a card in the last set where if you get 7 of it, like, something crazy happens. It's like a 1/1 for 1.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that card was in the game. I was playing I had an arena ticket, and I was playing it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I bet there's a deck for that in Wild, and I still haven't looked into it. I assume it's like, if you can fill your board with 7 1/1s, you get a 10/10 that gets killed by pretty much any card in Wild.
Sure.
Like, it just dies. So,
Yep.
Let's see. But yeah, so my experience with Miss Bigglesworth, though, is a one-off, and it sucked because nobody would die.
Yes. That seems to be everything that I've been reading about it.
Yeah, well, I would think, like, if you were playing, like, super low MMR, like, where players aren't good at all, you would have a better chance of Mr. Bigglesworth paying off, where if, like, I see people who are in, like, the 10,000 MMR range, I assume that most of the people in that are playing correctly, and you're probably going to end up having, like, 2 or 3 people eliminated in one turn eventually, but you might be one of them because you've not had a hero power to help you out any. Sure. Or I just know nothing about the Battlegrounds meta, and I'm just happy to be there.
Sure. Maybe it's the second one.
Could be. Let's see here. Any luck with getting the long boy mount in WoW?
I think I've only made, like, I want to say like 20,000 gold, so this week.
My only real thing I was going for was like that speed set. Getting up to, it feels like getting up to about 140 speed total, like 140% movement speed, is pretty easy.
Yeah.
I'm up to 150 now, but the rest of it is just like trying to grind out gear that drops with like the bonus tertiary stat of speed, and there's not really a fast way to do that, it doesn't seem. And I'm sure not going to run dungeons to try to get gear drops there. So I'm left to whatever pops up on the world quest, or trying to get like the pearls to get the benthic gear and hope to get it that way. So, but either way, 140 speed is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm sorry. Like, I feel faster. It makes playing my mage running old content miserable, though.
Sure.
But I'm not going to try to get a second set for another character. That's awful. So, I guess my warrior is my main for the rest of the time.
You were very, what's the word I'm looking for? It seems like you switch every time. You're like, I'm going to play this mage. And you're like, yeah, I don't really like mage. I want to bleed something else. And then, you get tired of that.
It's all about what... It has nothing to do with, like, power levels. Even though I do try to play for, like, best gear. But, like, mage had teleports, and being a mage is fun. But warrior became appealing to me for some reason. And then it was like, once I got enough teleport stuff to where I didn't feel that I was trapped, it's like, okay, I feel a lot better now. And now with the speed gear, now if I would have started the speed gear on the mage, the warrior would have gone by the wayside. So
sure.
Also, my mage was arcane, and I don't have fire gear, and I'm not gonna grind out a different gear set because your secondary stats are different for that. Even though it doesn't really matter as far as we are in, I'm not doing any current or fancy content, so I could just play Fire Mage and be happy. But I know that I'm not doing it right, so I can't enjoy it. It's like if you see somebody eat an ice cream cone upside down, you would know that they're doing it wrong. Like, you don't eat the bottom of the cone first and hold it by the ice cream. What are you doing? That's how it feels to me.
That would be interesting if I saw that.
I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to buy one of those, the frozen ones with the frost on the outside. Just bring it in and just be eating it backwards like nothing's wrong.
Well, I don't think we have anything else to talk about.
No, not really. So I'm going to...
I looked up on Conan Exiles just now to see if there's any news.
Yeah, for
And
the wizardry?
They last updated their website May 14th. So
You know what probably happened is their office probably just disappeared. The developers showed up and they were like, crap, what happened? And there was a note, this is what it feels like when my server disappears. And someone stole their office from them.
yes. And now they're trying to grind back up to get their office back to where it was, yes.
But like their laptops were just floating in the sky. But you couldn't reach them. Yeah. But you couldn't reach them.
Yes. All right. Ross, I think
You know how pleased I would be to find out that happened?
Sure.
So, all right. We're going to hit our outro, but are you out of here?
You know what? I'm out of here. You people out there listening to us, you have a great, great week.
Yes. Happy August, everybody.
Yeah, happy August.
All right. Later, man.